Alright, so today we have another Math Visa video. Today is I can solve an inequality. So, the thing about solving inequalities is that we should treat them exactly like equations. Okay, so we're going to keep this sign pointing the same way. Make sure that you never change it to an equal sign. There is one rule that I will talk about here in a little bit. So, first we're just going to distribute 4x minus 16 minus 8x is less than or equal to 0. Notice I'm still drawing my wall. I haven't changed that. I usually do that with equations as well. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So I realize I have to put the 4x and the negative 8x together. So that gives me negative 4x minus 16 is less than or equal to 0. Now what I would do next here is I would add 16, if this were an equation, but again it's an inequality, but I'll treat it like one. So I add 16 to both sides and get negative 4x is less than 16. Now, the one rule with inequalities that we have is that when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to switch the sign. So here I'm going to end up dividing by a negative number. So if the gator's mouth is opening to the right-hand side, now I'm going to switch it so that his mouth is opening towards the left-hand side. I call it the gator because an inequality sign looks like one, but again, you understand, you're just switching the way that the inequality sign is facing. So x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now, understand that inequalities have infinitely many solutions. Now, this isn't like your special solutions from equations, but what we're going to do is we're going to draw a number line to denote all these solutions, because there is infinitely many numbers that are all bigger than negative 4 that we could choose. So, all numbers that are bigger than negative 4 on my number line are going to work. Now I use a closed circle here because of this equals bar underneath my inequality sign, and I actually can equal negative 4. And then since x can be greater than negative 4, I shade to the right, because all numbers that are to the right on this number line would be greater than negative 4. So again, that rule that we have, that you have to switch the sign when you multiply or divide by negative, and the fact that you have really infinitely many solutions because x is either greater than or less than a given number. So, now I have another inequality. Let's try and avoid having to switch the sign by here being strategic. So if I add the 2x, I think that I'll avoid negative coefficients in front of x, because I get 7x plus 4 is less than, again, didn't switch the sign yet, haven't multiplied or divided by a negative, and I don't plan on it. So then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, again, treating this like I would with an equation. Don't switch the sign. Never make it an equal sign either. And then divide by 7, and x is less than 1. Now this number line is going to look a little different. Again, the key number is still going to be a 1, the number that we are greater or less than. However, this time, at that number we have a open circle. Okay? The reason for that is because we cannot equal a value at that point. And now that x is less than 1, we're going to shade this way. Okay? So, here is your bonus question for the day. Enjoy!